I cut the check, I cut the check, I cut the check. Tell my niggas we up next, so we up next. She shot a text, she shot a text, she shot a text. Kill the I might put the different day, put a nigga on that same shit. I've been ballin' with my niggas, Kevin Cambridge. Oh, you drippy, but you better tuck your chain quick.
What's going on, man? We back again with another video, man. And today we are here with probably one of the most important videos I ever recorded. This team has nothing to do with me. I'm not a fan of this team. I like some players on this team, but this team has nothing to do with me. We're here to talk about the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, if you've been watching me for a long time, you always see me say that they are the worst organization in the league, and I still believe that. Even though you got teams like the Timberwolves, that's basically it. It's just the Timberwolves and the Pelicans. They all have young talent. Their organizations are terrible. So today I want to go into that. Before I go into that, I want to say like and subscribe, share with your friends. But other than that, let's get straight into. So we're gonna take it all the way back, probably like 2-3 years ago. I don't know for sure. I think it was like 4 years ago actually. They had AD and Drew Holiday, and then they also had DeMarcus Cousins. But then DeMarcus Cousins, I think he tore his ACL. And then the year after that, he went to another team. But they had AD and Drew Holiday, and I think they kind of fumbled the bag with that. But I can't really get so mad at them because they were going against the Warriors. They blew out the Trailblazers in 4, and then they went against the Warriors, and everybody knew they were not beating the Warriors. But they had those two All-Stars on their team, and they really couldn't do nothing with them. And then they were given probably one of the best packages of all time in a trade. They got Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, and some picks. So you got a young talent, Brandon Ingram, who, if he gets more touches, he can be one of the best scorers in the league, and that's just what's been happening. You got one of the best playmakers in the league, and if you mold him right, teach him how to shoot, he can be one of the best shooters in the league, and that's what happened. You got a decent six-man in Josh Hart, who came to New Orleans and became one of the best rebounders other than a center position in the league. And then you got some picks, which the picks turned into Jackson Hayes, and we'll talk about him later on in the video. But they got a decent package for Anthony Davis, who didn't want to be there because they just weren't winning. They couldn't win, and they had to trade him. And then the next year, not the next year, literally like a couple months after that, the draft comes up. You draft Zion with the #1 pick. Great pick. It doesn't look like it now because Zion's going crazy and Zion's not playing, but it's a great pick. The only dumb person that would tell you that wasn't a great pick is Kendrick Perkins. He really thinks that Ja Morant should have been a #1 pick. I love Ja, but at that time, Zion was consensus. It was nobody above him. It was just Zion. If you didn't pick Zion at 1, you would have looked so stupid. Nobody expected Zion to get hurt as much as he's been doing. But at that time, that was the right pick. So that was the right pick. But then you back that up and you draft Jackson Hayes at #5. And this is no hate to Jackson Hayes, but you can kind of see what his career was going to be like. A rim running big who can also get some decent amount of rebounds and then block shot. That's it. But you pair that up with your paint beast in Zion Williamson, who's going to need to be in the paint the whole time. And it just didn't make sense. And it also didn't make sense when you had players like Tyler Hill around, Cam Reddish around, Cam Johnson around, even though he got picked at 10, and that might have been a reach because they picked at 8. It just fit better. You had other pieces. Brandon Clark would have been decent. Like, you had other pieces in that draft that you kind of could have put with the young core that you just got for AD with Zion. But they drafted Jackson Hayes, and the way it's looking so far, it doesn't look that good, bro. It doesn't look that good. But they made up for it at number 17. They traded with the Brooklyn Nets, and they picked Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who still has a lot of potential, who's been having a decent season this season. A kind of a shooting guard, but he can also play the point guard role. And he's more shoot first than pass first, but he's a decent passer. Really decent scorer, crafty scorer. So it kind of fit with that, but they didn't really start playing him until this year. Last few years, they had J.J. Redick, and J.J. Redick had to be in the lineup because at that time, the only shooting that they really had was Lonzo Ball, and they need shooting next to Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, so they had to start J.J. So the first year, Zion was out most of the year. I forgot what happened. I think he like tore his MCL or something in training. I don't know. He was out most of the year. Came back in March, but during that time, Lonzo was shooting good. Brandon Ingram was playing like an all-star, but this team was underachieving. A lot of people were excited to see this team. I think they had one of the most national televised teams in the league that season because of Zion, and he barely played, but that's just how the season ended out. He played the last, 15, 20 games and averaged like 25. But other than that, the team didn't make the playoffs. The play-in wasn't around at the time. So they kind of underachieved. And then the next year, they make it to they make it to the bubble. And they lose again. Actually, am I tripping? I think I'm tripping, actually. Because I keep forgetting COVID. COVID stopped it. Like, Zion played like 10 games, and then COVID came, and then they made it to the bubble, and then they just got swept in the bubble. They didn't win no games in the bubble, and they went home. And they really underachieved. But at that time, bro, you can kind of see that Jrue Holiday didn't fit their time, where they was trying to go young, trying to build with their young stars. So they had to trade Jrue Holiday. No, they wanted to trade Jrue Holiday. They didn't have to. I actually really like the fit with Jrue Holiday right there. But you had to trade Jrue Holiday, and then the package that they got for Jrue Holiday was just awful. Jrue Holiday is probably, at that time, he was probably a top 30 player in the league. He's still probably like top 40, top 50. He's shooting pretty bad. But like you can kind of see, he lost a little bit in the offensive side, but the defensive side still there. But at that time, Jrue Holiday was like a top 30 player in the league. And for you to get Eric Bledsoe back for damn near All-Star, it's kind of confusing. Doesn't make no sense at all. Knowing that you're going to have to trade Eric Bledsoe in like a year. And not a lot of teams want Eric Bledsoe. So that was a dumb old trade. And this is, during this time, like these next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you why the mistakes that they're making. I'm going to show you why I think they're one of the worst organizations in the league. So you trade for Jrue Holiday instead of trading for a guy like Dante DiVincenzo. You trade for Eric Bledsoe instead of trading for a guy like Dante DiVincenzo. So that's one mistake. And like I said, you traded an all-star, didn't get nothing back. You're running a lineup of Lonzo Ball and Eric Bledsoe in the backcourt. That's terrible. Then you hire Stan Van Gundy. Now, 2 weeks before they hire Stan Van Gundy, he said, if I was a coach of this team, I would use Lonzo as a 3-and-D point guard. Despite him, shoot, play defense. And then you hire him. And then Lonzo, not to say he had one of his worst years with the team, but for him to have a really good season in 2018, 2019 to 2019 to 2020, where he's just shooting spot-up threes the whole season, it was just terrible, bro. And he couldn't play his game. You see what Lonzo's doing now. They're using him as a real point guard. I said going into this season, Lonzo was one of the best open court playmakers in the league. But when it comes to half court, I don't know. And I didn't know that because the teams that he was with didn't let him play make in the half court. But they're letting him do that now. He looks really good. So he looks like one of the best playmakers we have in the entire league, open court or not. So they didn't let him do that. That Stan Van Gundy hiring was dumb. And then going into that year, they're in the draft. Again, they make another crucial mistake. You have Kira Lewis. You drafted Kira Lewis when you have Lonzo Ball. Why? That's basically just telling Lonzo, we don't want you. Instead of drafting Aaron Nesmith, who shot 52% from the three in college, when you need shooting on your team, you draft Aaron Nesmith. You draft Kira Lewis over Aaron Nesmith. Aaron Nesmith, at that time, Aaron Nesmith kind of fell in the draft. I was like, yo, that's the perfect pick for them. They're not going to mess it up again. And they draft Kira Lewis. And then you look into this year. Well, I ain't gonna fast forward that. So you draft Kira Lewis, right? Then this next year was surrounded by trade rumors. JJ Redick not getting the promise that he got from the front office, where they said they was going to trade him to the Knicks or the Knicks, and they traded him to Dallas. You got Zion being hurt. They turned Zion into a point guard. And BI was shooting spot up threes. It was just all awful. Last year was awful for the Pelicans. They underachieved again. It was all awful, bro. All awful. And then you go into this year, had a decent draft. I want to give it to them. They had a decent draft. That Trey Murphy pick was key. They're not using him well as of right now. I don't know what Willie Green's doing. because I would give him some more touches on ball, and they don't play. They play Herb Jones more than him, and Herb Jones was a great pick from a really good defensive wing. I've been watching Herb Jones since Colin Sexton went to Alabama. That was 3 years ago. Herb Jones was a great pick for them, but like, come on, bro, Trey Murphy's a dog. Like, Trey Murphy is the player that y'all want. I think y'all should just run big. I've been saying it. Let Devontae come off the bench. He's not a starting caliber point guard. Let B.I. play the point. Then go B.I. And this was when they healthy. I don't know when the hell Zion's going to come back. But B.I., Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Trey Murphy, Zion, and Valanciunas. That would be a decent, fun lineup. But it's too late now because it's 2 and 12. It's too late. You know, it's no matter. But another thing they did was traded for Valanciunas. Really good trade. But I think that's kind of another head scratcher. And I didn't name this back probably a couple minutes ago. They traded for Steven Adams a year ago. And then sign him to an extension without seeing him play with Zion. When just a normal person would know him and Zion just don't fit. They wouldn't fit. And I would have thought the same with Jonas Valanciunas right now because they extended him too. But Jonas Valanciunas is shooting really well. I think he's shooting 53% from the three. So that's crazy. But you do that, and then you sign Devontae Graham. Now this is, remember I said I was going to talk about Kyrie Lewis again. You signed Devontae Graham when you drafted Kyrie Lewis at 11. So what was the point of drafting Kyrie Lewis? When in Kyrie Lewis draft, let's see this 2020 draft class. Let's see this. Since you just want to waste a pick, because essentially you just wasted a pick. You signed you drafted whatchamacallit. Damn, why can't I find this, bro? Oh, I put NBA. But you essentially just waste a pick because you signed what's his name? Devontae Graham to a 3-year, $49 million contract, but you just drafted a point guard in the lottery. It just makes no sense. It's making no sense. So, the draft selections. Let's see who's under Kyrie Lewis. Aaron Neesmith. Cole Anthony would have been a decent pick. Josh Green, Sadiq Bey, Tyrese Maxey. Off the top of the head, Manuel Quickly. Like, you just see those names that would have fit way better with this team, other than a point guard when you already had a point guard that fit what you needed him to do. Just needed to shoot, make a little bit, and play defense. But they didn't want to do that. Tyrell Terry wouldn't have been. I don't even know if Tyrell Terry's in the league right now. That's crazy. I don't know what happened to him because he was supposed to be a lottery pick. I don't know what the hell happened to him. But yeah, like, essentially you just wasted a pick and now you signed Devontae Graham, who at some point he's going to lose that starting spot. Devontae Graham is as inconsistent as it gets. You signed him to $49 million after you just drafted a point guard in the lottery. It makes no sense. It doesn't make sense. You can't make it make sense to me. So, other than that, though, just when you thought everything was going to be okay, we go into this season probably like a week or two before preseason, and we get a report that says Zion's going to be out for 3 weeks. At the time, I didn't really think too much of it. 3 weeks, I was like, all right, he's going to miss this whole preseason and probably miss the first week of the NBA season. But then you look at the media day. Media day told it all. It told it all. Motherfucker is 300 pounds. Plus, he's fat in the neck. I know y'all seen that one picture of Zion in a pool. And he looked buff as hell. Now he just look fat. So you let him get fat. Because if it's me, and it might sound easier than it is, I don't know. But if it's me and I got a superstar like that who I know gains weight, I'm having a cook for him. And I'm having a trainer with him the whole summer. You got to go with him the whole summer. Y'all better become best friends because you're going to be with him the whole summer. I can't let him come back looking fat like this, bro. And then look, it's affecting the team now. He hurts his ankle. We're a month into the season. They said it was 3 weeks. We're a month into the season. We haven't seen Zion play basketball. And they announced that before the preseason. And we're a month into the season. We have not seen Zion Williamson play basketball. And then you had that whole thing in the summer talking about Zion Williamson. His camp doesn't like the Pelicans. But that's on him because he's getting big. He keeps getting hurt. And look at the team. The team's suffering. I thought they were 12 and 2. They're 12 and 14. Brandon Ingram can't carry this team. Brandon Ingram's having a decent year. Him and Jonas Valanciunas are having a really good year. I screen recorded this stat. Brandon Ingram's averaging 24, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 44 from the field, 40 from the 3, and 84 from the line. He can't be any better than that. He can't carry this garbage team with Devontae Graham. Let's see Devontae Graham stats. And I don't mean to keep picking on Devontae Graham, but it just don't make sense to do that when you just drafted a point guard. Devontae Graham shoot up 38% from the field. I'm not even gonna tell you what he's averaging. 15 points, okay, that's decent. I bet he's averaging the same amount from the 3 as he averaging from the field. Let me check that. Damn near, he's shooting 35% for the 3. Like, you see the countless mistakes. You draft Kira Lewis, you draft Jackson Hayes, you sign Stan Van Gundy. What else? You trade for Eric Bledsoe. You trade for Steven Adams and then give him extension without seeing him playing with your best player. Like, it's just countless dumb mistakes that they keep making. You trade Lonzo. Like, the dumb mistakes that they keep making. Like, it just don't make sense, bro. That's why I say this organization is god awful, and I hope Brandon Ingram gets away from it. I hope literally everybody gets away from it. I don't want to single out a single player. I hope everybody gets away from it because this organization is terrible. They need some changes, bro. I think what's the GM name? Get Dan Gilbert. He has to be fired. He's terrible. He is terrible, bro. So that's pretty much it I got for y'all for this video, man. Let me know how you think about this video. I think it's actually a really good video, but other than that, man, this organization is god awful, bro. 2-14 is wild. They're literally they're the second worst team because the Rockets are just fucking. They're on a 13-game losing streak, but they're the second worst team in the league. And look at all the talent that they have, and they just wasting it. Got Zion being 300 pounds and shit. It's 1 month into the season. They announced before the preseason that he's going to be out for 3 weeks. Or 1 month into the season, we haven't seen Zion touch a basketball. It's sad, bro. It's sad. But that's it for this video. I'll talk to y'all.